You are listening to the Lance J Radio Show on Advent Sports Network.
High school, had a chance to go to Pine Sports. Really a rare combination. You don't see a lot of guys like you, Jeremy, big muscular guys, athletic guys that end up singing gospel music and then directing choirs and are excellent, on the piano, excellent on the violin. What really made you come to that conclusion? Because I remember, and I like to tell stories about individuals that come on the Lance J Radio Show if I know them. I remember you being in Handy Hall playing the piano at 2 a.m, teaching yourself how to play the piano. And I was a person that was up late all the time. I should have been asleep. I should have been in bed. I was always up walking around at 2, 3 a.m. And there would be this guy, he would be playing these chords. And, over the course of the year, he's playing the same chords. And by the end of the year, he was playing, really well. And by the next year, he was playing really, really well. And that turned out to be you. What made you decide to actually be a choir director? What lit that fire? You talked about, you had the chance to have a scholarship, and that really brought you into music. But what made you say, hey, I want to do this for a living. I want to be a director. I want to impart my wisdom and knowledge on young people, and I want to take this show on the road. I want to go to Europe. I want to go all across the country. What brought you to that state?
Well, it's interesting because the latter part of the question is kind of holds the answer. I mean, I always want to work with people. I want to share what I've learned and encourage others to try to learn and reach within themselves to become a better person, and to through life experiences know how to strengthen and lead others. And so this was really, being a musician in studying classical music, because I sing, probably, you said I'm a gospel singer. I sing classical, but I do gospel, to be honest with you. Because I study, in studying music on the collegiate level, you're studying classical and so forth. And all through those years, I wanted to say, how can I reach the community that I grew up in, that I've grown to love, and that I see that in many respects needs strong male leaders and strong male figures. And at the same time, I said, how can I do that and still pursue the career in music? And so being a choral director is a natural fit to that desire. Part of my dream was to work at an HBCU to be a chorus director, and I remember specifically praying for that, to say this is something that I want to do, because I have a passion in education, a passion for leadership, and a passion for music, and I think being a chorus director is all of that.
So tell us about your career, Jeremy. What are some of the stops you've had along the way as far as getting your secondary education, and what are you doing now? What is Central State University focused on with your choir and your itinerary for 2005 and beyond? Okay,
well, I started, after Oakwood, I went to Morgan State University, which has a very renowned choir under the then director, he's now since passed, Dr. Nathan Carter, who, for all intents and purposes, is considered the dean of African American choral directors. And great man. Yeah, absolutely, and he's done a lot of great things for generations of college goers at Morgan State and beyond. And so, being able to study under him, I just remember my first performance with the Morgan State Choir, and I know this is not exactly what you wanted, but this is a good story. My first performance with Morgan State University, of course, was with the Los Angeles Symphony and the Jazz, Wynton Marsalis and the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra in Hollywood at the Hollywood Bowl Theater. And we also did a recording. I think this was like on September 13th, and we did a recording of his piece of his work called All Rise, in the Sony studios in LA. I mean, it's just like, it's just the top of the top, right? And so I started Morgan, and then the next day, at least the next week, I'm flying out to LA for this thing. Crazy thing about it is, I started Morgan in 2001. So on September 10th, 2001, my group flew from Dulles International Airport to Los Angeles International Airport on United Airlines. And so that is the day before September 11th, when the flight that was hijacked followed the same route from Dulles Airport to Los Angeles International, and it's on United flight. And that was, and as a matter of fact, a couple of students missed the flight on the 10th, and were rushing to get to the flight to make it on the next day, but they couldn't get to the airport because by that time they had blocked everything off. So it's just, that's one of the amazing blessings of just the reality of life and how it looks out for you. But these are some of the experiences that opened up my eyes and heart to what performance can do, both for an education and both for life, and also for life. From then on, I got a chance to travel to Prague, to Russia, to France, performing with orchestras and so forth. And these experiences really changed my life, because be able to travel abroad, you realize that, you realize how small your world is. I mean, we get so caught up in our world and the things that we're concerned about that we forget that, we're one of approximately 7 billion people on this planet. Mm-hmm. But being able to travel, you can really opens up your horizons. And so I said, listen, when I get a group, I want to expose them to this as well. And traveling to me is so important. We can teach all the theories we want in the classroom, write them on the chalkboard, but to actually put them in practice, to actually show what these things mean in real life and in real time, is something far more valuable and far more beneficial, both for me as the teacher and for the student. So, so I've made a point to take them abroad, and since I've been to Central, I've been there I've just completed my second year, and we've been overseas. Actually, this time last year, we were traveling overseas with the Czech National Symphony Orchestra throughout Spain. Then we did on this same tour, we did concerts in Germany, France, and also headlined the Czech National Symphony Orchestra Prom's concert. I'm headed back to Czech National Symphony Orchestra, headed back to Prague with the Jeremy Winston Chorale, which is a professional ensemble that I formed a couple of years ago. But then at the end of July, another group from Central State to Colombia, Medellin, Colombia, South America, to perform with their local orchestra. So, and this is to me an investment in the development of these students, because this is going to be something that's an experience that they're never going to forget, to recognize their value and hopefully expand their horizons.